Hello and welcome to this short video where I want to talk about agents that improve other agents. So in my previous video, I already talked about RSI. What is RSI? Recursive self-improvement. And the idea is that an artificial intelligence system rewrites their own code to create a better uh, version of itself, and this continues and continues until we arrive at a super intelligence. So this image should illustrate this. Now, what does this have to do with Copilot Studio, the Power Platform, and what we are usually doing? Well, in a previous video, I shared you a lessons learned agent where people that made an experience in one project record it so that other people who work in similar situations can learn from that and avoid the same pitfalls. So that's a kind of human-based learning, let's say, uh, with agent support. But today we want to have a look at something different, how we can use agents to improve other agents. Yeah? And what are we doing today? Well, we have here an agent, and that's a simplified view. An agent has knowledge, tools, skills, and whatever. Yeah? And then you have a conversation with your user. And this kind of conversation can be good and bad. And to check this, we do evaluations. Sometimes you do it before you go live, sometimes after on a regular basis. That's what we are doing. Yeah. And what are these evaluations giving us? They give us some ideas, what to adjust, what to improve, how to fine tune things maybe, yeah, and what to change in our agent. Um, is this perfect? Of course not. There are a lot of problems. So these adjustments that we made based on these assessments, they are subjective. Um, and sometimes using a better model, which might fix a problem, might not be the overall solution to this because it costs a lot of more money, and then the whole structure or setup that you used falls apart. Then fine tuning is often not feasible either from a costing perspective or from a technical perspective because you cannot adjust it, and there is no guarantee, and that's the most important point. There's no guarantee that the adjustments that you make that they are better than the agent that was running before. Yeah? So what is the solution? What can we do to fix this problem? Well, the answer to this is an optimizer agent. What is that and what is the idea? So the idea is we have an agent and then we have another agent that tries to optimize this. Yeah? How does it work? Well, this optimizer agent takes a look at this, yeah, and then suggests better skills, better tools, better whatever. Yeah? It does then an evaluation or a human in the loop step. Yeah? And then based on that, an update is made to this agent, making it better. So that's the basic idea. Where does it come from? Well, I found a research paper and a video for that. You can have a look at that. Yeah. Where people were trying to use a large language model and improve it without doing a fine tuning. And what they did is they adjusted the skills that were attached just by modifying the skill sets based on the conversations that were done. And with this kind of mindset, I did something similar for my use case. Yeah? And now let's come back to our Copilot Studio world and have a look at what we experience many times and how we can then implement this experience in reality. So what is my use case? Yeah? So you have a person that is building a Copilot Studio agent. Yeah? And then you share it with others. Yeah? And they are happy, they can work with it. But then maybe somebody else or yourself doing some testing and you mess it up. Huh? So you changed it, the way it behaves, and then suddenly things don't work, people are unhappy, things just don't do the things anymore they are supposed to do. And now comes this kind of optimizer agent into the play where this optimizer automatically improves what you have built, fixes all the glitches, and then shares it again with your people so that they are really happy about it. Yeah? And now the question is, how can we implement this in practice? And that's what I want to show you next. Okay, so I'm here in my Copilot Studio application. You can see that I built an agent with the name Vader and gave it some funny instructions. Yeah, but not only that, on the right hand side, you see that I gave him some special skills that make no sense from a business perspective. I also added a couple of tools. Yeah, and to make it worse, in the settings, I put some greetings and maybe some suggested prompts. And then what this kind of thing is doing, if we start a chat, it says, hey, I'm Vader, I'm your master. Hi, Master Vader. How are you? It answers really in a kind of funny way that is not business alike, and maybe uses too much funny words that you do not want to have. But maybe you built this already a couple of months before, you do not remember what you built, and then things get messed up. Now, we want to improve this, and we do not want to improve it by doing this evaluation and then adjusting things one by one. But what we want to do is something more systematic. And what I had a look at is first, where are all of these fragments that make up this agent, where are they stored, and where are the important parts that I want to adjust. So first thing is we go to the agents table. So this is the agents table, and this is shows you maybe I refreshed that a bit. It shows you the agents that I built, and the important thing here is this kind of configuration. It says, hey, what kind of model are you using? What kind of instructions do you have? What is the greeting text? And that's something we certainly want to adjust. Second thing is we have agent components. The agent components, these are your workflows, these are your skills, these are your connectors, and they also have some information here in this column. So you can see, hey, what is the skill? And if we refreshed it, we should see my latest update, where it says, hey, this is the special skill to defeat Luke, which makes no sense in a business context. And then the third element that I had a look at are the conversations. Why? Because you need to have a look, how are people actually interacting with this agent? What are they doing? What are they asking? And then you can say, hey, maybe I don't need the most expensive model here, but something very simple and much cheaper might do the job. And that's the idea that I want to put in place. And how do I put this in place? Well, let me copy that, then I can show you in a second. So what I did is I was building here an optimizer agent. So let me go to that and show you the different elements, but only the most important ones. So first I have here, I list the agents and I filter it by the name that I give. You will see in a second. Then I get the agent components. It's just here a simple Dataverse connector, and then I drag and get the transactions that have been made with this agent. And now comes the two important steps. The upper one checks the components and improves it. And what I did here is I put a lengthy message saying, hey, what are your agents? What is the components that you have? How should it be structured? And don't forget, I have here an agent. And because I want to make sure that this is high quality stuff, I put here cowork. And the same, what I did for the components, and that adjust things here on top one by one, will be done here for the agent. I also said, hey, have a look at the agent, check the model fit, and so on. But what I also did is here, I put some rules saying, hey, you cannot adjust maybe some certain kind of things that I need for my business. Or you cannot adjust maybe some connectors. Don't delete them or something. And then what happens is these kind of adjustments will be made and an update to this database table will happen. So let us have a quick look and test this. And for my test, I said, hey, manually add this agent name. Actually what you can do is run this on a regular basis, on a scheduled trigger, or maybe run it once a month, maybe run it for all agents in a specific environment. That's really up to you what you want to do here. And then you see and can follow the different steps that it does. So here we have the transactions, we have the components, we have the agents, and now we have parallel tasks where we adjust the components and the agent. And then after a while, you see it takes approximately a minute and a half. Then these adjustments of the agent should be done. But of course, don't forget, based on your restrictions that you put in place. Also, what I did not do is I just make the updates here directly to my agent. What you would need is either another agent that double checks or a human in the loop that really has a closer look and says, yes, please go ahead, make this update, you're fine to go. So this is something that you can improve. But for this reason, for this demo purposes, I'm happy with that. So now let us go back to our Vader agent. Yeah, have a look at it, and now let's refresh it to see what happened. And if this opens, we should see hopefully some different kind of instructions. They are not perfect because I should not use the word Darth Vader and any kind of Star Wars things in a business context. But anyway, you can see that the instructions have been changed. Also the skills, yeah, you can see what kind of adjustments have been made. Why? Because this large language model is much better in defining skills than I am. And also here, if we look at the settings, we should see a proper greeting and maybe some suggested prompts. And the same happens with the tools in the context of what you allowed. Don't forget that this tool is not doing everything and not just deleting your skills. It always respects this kind of hard rules, regulations, and things where you say, hey, please don't touch this, never adjust this kind of thing. And this makes your agent better. Why? Why? Well, it gives it more context. It is based on actual and real transactions that people had with it, and makes it just a better companion that helps you saving costs, yeah, from the GPT model. So you see it's also changed, and getting better results from skills and knowledge that you put in. So that was it, what I want to share. Let us go back to my PowerPoint for some important notes. Okay, at the end, some key takeaways. So first of all, what I showed you here is not an RSI, not a tool that is improving itself until it becomes a super intelligent agent. That's not possible in Copilot Studio, but it's RSI inspired, let's say, and improves your agent in an automatic fashion. So it avoids fine tuning. Well, actually, in Copilot Studio, it would not be possible, but in Foundry, you can do it. But just by making some tweaks to these skills and what you have, you already getting a better agent. You optimize the agent artifacts and you do not touch the base model. It's a more systematic way, it's cheaper, and it allows you to do continuous improvements because as people interact, as they have conversations with the agent improvement flow that I showed you, this optimizer flow, it improves it based on what people ask. Yeah? The whole thing is reusable across agents, and this makes it scale. Yeah? And of course, it's cheaper to run and not just to build. So that's what I wanted to share with you. Thanks for watching and listening, and looking forward to seeing you next time.